Hi guys, welcome to As Simple as Possible. Today we are going to discuss about CFA, that is Chartered Financial Analyst course. This has three levels, level 1, level 2 and level 3. This video is about self-study method of studying CFA because mostly you'll find people learning you to take up coachings, but I feel that I should tell you this, that CFA is possible if you do a self study, and rather it becomes easier because you don't have to study through coaching and then again study the books. If you do a self study, it is possible. So the strategy that I am going to tell you today is only for those students who have a commerce background, that is they had commerce in 12th, or they had a commerce and rather they had commerce in their college level also, they had done bachelor's in commerce. So if that is the case, then you can easily move on with my strategy because it is sufficient, and I feel that if a person follows that strategy, it might not work for everybody, but I think it will be a great starting factor because after that you will easily get the hang of it, and you can frame your own strategy as per what you feel you should add or subtract. But you need to get a start, and this video will help you start with CFA. Basically, level 1 is all about the concepts building part. So I'll start out with the books that are available firstly. There are basically two books in the market that we actually get. Core book means the institute books. They are given by the CFA Institute. They are very voluminous and students don't prefer to read those books. Squazure. Squazure is the popular book. It is Kaplan Squazure and you can easily get it online. So that is your wish, whichever you want to follow. The only difference between the two is that Squazure is a brief part of the core, and it covers almost all the concepts of the core, but it covers it in a brief manner. It is for those people who have a background of finance or accounts and can easily manage through this book. But when I had started with the CFA level 1, I found Squazure to be very um, uh, brief and I couldn't get the concepts well. So it is your choice whether you have the time and the inclination to study and go forward with the core books. You can do it. It's very simple and easy language, and it has a lot of concepts, so it will help you with the other two levels as well. But I will not disagree with the fact that Squazure alone can help you pass. That's true. Squazure covers almost all the concepts of codebook, and it gives you the time to practice questions. And trust me, practicing questions in CFA is very important. So one point that I can tell you for sure is that question practice is the key to passing the CFA exams. The more you practice, the more you get well versed with the questions, and the more you get ready for the exam, because nobody can help you in the exam but you yourself, and for that you have to get yourself ready. No coaching can bring that in you unless you want to do that. So there is no point in wasting money in coaching. There is about, I think, they charge more than half of the amount that we have paid for the registration fees. So it doesn't make sense for people who cannot afford that. The people who can afford, if you are okay with giving your time with coaching and plus again studying yourself, it's okay. You can go with that. But I have made this video for people who don't want to waste their time studying the same things twice. If you study it on your own, then it will help you better, and I feel you will be able to cope with it better. So there are about 1800 to 2000 questions in the CFA Institute question bank, and they are very helpful. When you practice them, uh, you get well versed with the concepts of the core, and when you sit for the exams, you can feel that that practicing questions will make you more confident. In the CFA level 1 exams, almost the questions are almost all tested, and all the subjects are tested equally, and we are not allowed to disclose the questions, the topics that are more difficult or less difficult. We cannot discuss all that, but yes, all the topics are very important, and you should study them with equal importance. So when you are studying CFA, you have to keep in mind that you cannot leave anything. And the most important part is concept building. And for that, you have to be consistent. I know everybody has their own method of studying, and there is no one single method that can help everybody. But I hope that if you follow this when you are starting out with your preparation, it will help you in getting the hang of the syllabus, because the syllabus of CFA is very vast, and I agree that for a student who's just starting out with CFA, the syllabus becomes too overwhelming, and it is very difficult to complete the entire syllabus and then practice all the questions of the question bank and then sit for the long hours of exam and then pass it. So I'm not discouraging you, but I'm just trying to give you the idea about what you are going forward in. So CFA is not about just giving the correct answers, it is about understanding the questions very well. And for that, there is no other way but to read the book. So, reading the book is equally important, but not that you have to understand each and every concept, because when you are doing a self study, you cannot be expected to read and understand each and every line, especially if you're reading core, because it is so vast that when you reach the end of the chapter, you don't know what you had studied in the starting of the chapter. So I feel that, and for square people who are studying Square, that is not the case. So Square allows you to cover the chapter in a few pages, so it reduces the pressure that you have, so you can concentrate more. But likewise, the institute books give you such a concept that you will never forget that concept even in the exams. But the most important part is practicing the questions. Without practicing the questions, you cannot, and actually practicing questions makes the task much easier. CFA is all about practicing questions. So that is the core mantra that you have to follow while you are planning your CFA studies. When you are plan the if I tell you what you can do when you are starting out, whatever book you are reading, please follow one book. There is no point in following two books. So whichever book you are following, just trust that book and study that book thoroughly. There, I cannot expect you to understand each and every concept in the first reading, but just do the first reading, then practice the questions and note down if there is any important point that you came across while doing the questions. Revise those points on an everyday basis, and if you cannot do that on everyday basis, then revise those points after you have completed all the questions in the question bank and the exercise questions. And then if you feel that you have to read the books again, you can go forward. You can read the square after that if you have read the code, or uh, you can again read the square if you had already done a first reading of the square. So basically, you have to make a target about how many chapters you can complete with reading in a day, but I will suggest that you take baby steps. You should start out with one chapter a day and complete its exercise questions, then move on to the next chapter. Once you are complete with a section, you should take the question bank and then practice all the section questions, whatever are there in the question bank online. So that will help you study the first, take the first step towards practice. And I feel that around, people say that 70% if you are scoring, then it's enough. But when I was doing, I was not even getting, I was getting around 65%. So it's not that there is some mandatory thing that you have to study. You have to get 70%. Just trust on your concepts. Even if you are not getting 60%, 65% right now, if you are doing your concepts well, then you will get, say, 70% in the exams. Remember that formulas are equally important in CFA. So you have to concentrate on remembering the formulas as well. So when you are studying, if you I'll suggest you a good way to remember the formulas. Whenever you are doing a self-study, just note down the formulas as and when you are studying CFA, so that you at the end of the entire study session, you have your own formula set, and you know that if you have already read those formulas, and you can easily revise them and then go for the exams. So this is a clear cut strategy. I have not told something which is not known, but yes, whenever you are searching for CFA, no one tells you how to start out with your studies if you want to do a self study. But trust me, self study, I felt that self study helped me more, and rather than taking coaching, because in the coachings, mm, the easy things were also complex, and it felt as if it was very tough. But when you read the chapter on your own, you get the confidence and then you can move on. So just concentrate on the questions that you are practicing. Whatever questions you get, if you want to practice through square, you can practice the square questions. If you want to do the question bank online, you can practice the online question bank questions. It does not matter what questions you are practicing, it matters how much you are practicing, because the more you practice, the more you get the hang of it and the more you are prepared. So the entire key about CFA exams is being prepared. One thing is for sure, that you cannot be the best in all the subjects, but you can know a little bit about every subject, and when you add it up, you actually are able to pass the exam, because you are well versed with all the subjects. Like if you are good at ethics, and if you are good at FRA, and if you study portfolio management, alternatives, derivatives, all these are finance based subjects. We have not studied them in such a large uh, content in our college or higher studies. So for that you can concentrate on taking baby steps and just concentrating on practicing questions, because it will help you come out of that newness and realize that this is also uh, very easy. And overall, I feel that you can manage CFA if you are practicing the entire question bank, if you have read the book once, and revising regularly. So this is the three steps that you can follow, and then you can add or subtract as you go on with your preparation based on your personal um, way of studying. But my strategy has been that I have studied CFA uh, myself on a self study basis, by doing questions and by reading the book and by revising regularly. And if there is any concept that you're not able to understand, do write in the comment section, and maybe I can help you out with those questions. And there is another way, of course. You can just Google the questions, and there are so many videos about different concepts that you don't actually need to go and take that extra step of spending money, because that will not only waste your money but also waste your time and efforts. So, and put a pressure on you basically. It's very easy to follow these steps and clear CFA. I hope this video is useful to you, and if there is anything that you want to talk about or want me to talk about, you can write down in the comment section. It will help me a lot in preparing for what you actually want to know about CFA, and I can help you out with all that. So that's all about it. This is a strategy that I have followed. I hope it helps you, and thanks for watching.